Celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team. Veterinarian Dr. Debbie White, dog trainer Alan Cable, groomer Joey Villani, communicator Joy Turner, and here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
Well, we have a big show for you today. We're going to be talking about, how helpful dogs are. Because we know they're great friends for us, and they're fun playmates. But they also have helped in the courtroom. And we'll be talking to a former prosecutor who's founded an organization to put dogs in the courtroom. And we'll also talk to a lady who's, what is she doing? I should read this beforehand. I should remember it.
The bullying one?
Oh, yeah.
Oxygen deprivation.
Yeah.
It's oxygen deprivation. She'll be talking about bullying and how there's an anti-bullying program using dogs. That's all on the way right here on Animal Radio. Stacy, what are you working on?
Well, I have a great love story coming up. There was a couple of seeing eye dogs that fell in love, and then their owners followed suit. I'll tell you about it coming up on Animal Radio News.
Aww.
I saw that. That's a great story.
You want me to get the collar?
Yes, ma'am.
I have a fancy chicken I'm treating for wheezing here at the clinic.
Oh, you are?
A wheezing chicken?
For wheeze?
Yes.
Wheeze? What's
Yes,
wheeze?
it's not a barbecue chicken. It's actually a wheezing chicken.
A wheezing chicken.
Please explain. You got some explaining to do.
Well, this is actually a pet chicken. Lives in a house with dogs, cats, guinea pigs, and rabbits, and children too.
Wow.
And it's wheezing, so it's actually having severe breathing problems. And chickens, just like other birds, can get viruses, bacteria, parasites, you name it. So we're kind of treating the little guy for a multitude of things. But he was sitting in some oxygen yesterday. We were having him breathe oxygen just because he was so bad off.
Can you imagine a little chicken
mask?
with a little mask?
Yeah, how do you get that to stay on his head?
Special chicken mask.
Well, you know, we cut to the chase. We make it easy. We put them in a box, and we just pump the oxygen in the box.
Oh, okay.
So
That's what you need, Hal.
A little box.
And let's go to Sherry. Hey, Sherry.
Hey, Hal, how are you today?
Doing okay. What's up with you?
Well, actually, I'm traveling today with my little Ruby. She's a Yorkshire Terrier. She's not a very good traveler.
Oh, no.
My question is, she's just about 3 years old, and although she at times will go over to the door, most of the time she doesn't let you know she needs to go to the bathroom. And I trained her on a potty patch, and for a while she would go on the potty patch, and then we start doing more outside stuff. Now she won't have anything to do with the potty patch, and she will actually dance around the room, looks like she wants to play. We'll play for a little while, and then I'll go into the kitchen, I'll come back, and she's wet on the floor, right next to the potty patch or wherever else she wants to go. And she actually defecated on a couch the other day, which appalled me. And I don't know why it is that we take her out all the time. I walk her long walks. I do everything. But there are just times when we will leave for a couple hours and come back and she's peed on the floor. We actually had to buy a steam cleaner just because of her. So I don't know if I should quarantine her into the kitchen and just put something across the door and put the potty patch in there, figure it's the only place she could go, and retrain her on it, or are Yorkies just that hard?
No, you gotta, first of all, Sherry, you gotta demonstrate to your dog the proper way to go to the restroom outside. And before I go any further, you know I'm kidding, right?
I'm hoping so.
I'm just joking, Sherry. Sherry, you're a good lady. Are you a little nervous? You're a little nervous around your dog? You get a little nervous that the dog's gonna go and you're excited yourself?
Well, yeah, when we leave, I think she knows that I'm trying to figure out how to get her to go to the bathroom real quick before we go.
All right.
Yeah, I do.
All right, here's what you need, Sherry. Firstly, you need a crate. Do you have a crate?
Yes, she hasn't been in it in years.
All right, you need a crate, a collar, a leash, some treats, time, a lot of patience, and a lot of confidence. And what you're going to do, Sherry, you are going to take her outside. You're going to stand still. You're going to ignore her if she wants to play. Don't buy into that. And you're going to wait about 10 minutes for her to go to the bathroom. If she does, you're going to make a big deal out of it, like have fireworks in your pocket. Just go nuts, okay? Good dog. Give her a treat. When you're in the house with her, you either have to put her in the crate or you have to attach her to your hip with the leash so that you know when she's getting ready to do her business. And get rid of those pads. Those pads are a waste of time. They confuse dogs. You know, if a dog can go to the bathroom in the house, that's what a dog knows. She can't tell the difference between the pad and your favorite rug. So you start from scratch, and you're very calm. And you got to go outside and just stand there. When she goes, you bring her back in. You reward her. You tell her what a good dog she is. And you got to keep doing it after every event, you take her outside. That's important, too. So after she wakes up from a nap, first thing in the morning, before bed, when you come home, wait 10, 15 minutes, let her out. But when you're not there, Sherry, to watch her, you have to keep her in the crate or you have to keep her attached to your hip so that you can correct her immediately when she makes a mistake. You can go, no, and then bring her outside. And that's pretty much all there is to it. You just got to be consistent and have a lot of patience.
Okay. So if I'm going to be gone for a few hours, I should just put her in the crate.
Absolutely. That way she can't make a mistake.
Okay. All right. Well, that's what I'll do. I've got a big one. I had a little one when she was a puppy, but I've got a bigger one. It'll give her a little more room, and I'll just put her in there. And we're never really gone that long. It's just that she decides that, well, I got to go. Nobody's around.
How big is that big crate? Yeah.
And make it a small crate. One other thing, Sherry, is your dog is letting you know. You just have to watch her. Watch her very closely. You said before she doesn't let me know when she has to go out, but each dog does it in a different way. And believe me, she's giving you a little cue. You're just not recognizing it yet. You'll learn to.
Okay, because they all look like the same play thing. Like, and she dances around, and if I throw the toy, then she'll go and get it. So.
Well, see, that's the thing. When you take her outside, she has to know it's time to go out to go to the bathroom, not playtime. So playing with a dog is going to make her prolong the event because she's going to realize that as soon as she goes, you bring her in. So she's going to stay outside and play with you and not go. So you have to let her know, hey, it's time to go to the bathroom now. No joking around.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give it a shot because it's kind of icky.
Give it a shot, girlfriend.
I will. Thank you.
Thanks. We appreciate your call, Sherry. Let's go to Annette. Hi, Annette. How are you?
Okay, and you?
Oh, splendid. What's going on in your world?
Someone stole our dog.
Someone stole your dog?
Yes. We had a Yorkie Terrier.
How do you know it was stolen?
Well, because we had some people that was working, and when he left, we thought that she was in the yard because she can't get out the yard. And I went looking for her because she's running around inside, and we couldn't find her. And she can't get out the gate.
Okay, so you're assuming right now that she's been stolen. Is that correct?
Well, we can't find her. It's been at least a couple of weeks.
It's certainly possible someone could have snatched her doggie, especially, with all what we're kind of hearing in the media lately about kind of the pet flipping situation.
Mm-hmm.
But, a Yorkie is a little dog, and it doesn't take a lot to have someone accidentally open a back door, a gate, or for a little guy, to get out of the yard. So for me, I always would recommend contacting every shelter in the immediate area. And to really keep up with that, because I find a lot of times even some good-hearted people who find dogs don't report the pets to the shelters, and they try to adopt it out, or they try to find the owners themselves, and then maybe after a couple of weeks they say, you know what, we can't find an owner. I can't keep this dog. Now I'm going to turn it into the shelter, and it can be weeks or even months later. So I would not lose hope for finding your baby. But there are some other avenues I'd make sure you do. Is your pet microchipped?
No, she's not.
Oh, darn, because that would be one thing, is to contact the microchip companies as well and to report her missing or stolen. I would really keep up the efforts and really blanket the veterinary offices, the shelters, and keep up the looking. You can't stop. That's the biggest message I have to give you.
And Annette, my name is Joy. I'm the animal communicator. Can you tell me the name of your girl?
Her name is Duchess.
Okay. Duchess, when I connected with her to see what she could tell me, she is actually with someone.
Oh, that's good.
So somebody does have her. They are taking care of her. And it does not feel, from the feeling she's sending me, it doesn't feel like it's the same person that was in your yard. What she was showing me is that she ran out when they were taken out of the yard, and somebody else found her. So I'm assuming you've already done things like put up posters and that sort of thing.
Put up posters, went to the animal shelter.
Okay. Well, right now she can't tell me, because they don't know addresses or things like that. She can't tell me where she is. It's, I just know that she's comfortable, she's warm, she's being taken care of from everything she shows me. She's being treated well. So all of that, at least, is good. And I was trying to get to see if she could show me anything else. She might be in something that feels like a townhouse instead of a home. So if you have anything that looks like townhouses around your place, you might want to knock on some doors or put posters up around that particular facility and pay attention to where she is. She doesn't show me being outside on the grass very much. She's in most of the time. Well, yeah. So she's in most of the time, so it's going to be harder to find her. She does feel like she goes up steps when she comes from outside to go inside. So that might be another thing that you could look for, is something that feels like a townhome with steps that lead up to it. Those might be some ways you could look for her too.
Annette, where are you located?
In Los Angeles.
Okay, about where do you think the dog was lost?
South Central LA, off of Rodeo Road and not too far from Crenshaw.
Okay, were there any marks on this dog that people could recognize if they're listening now?
Yes, up under her left leg, there's a scar where she had a rash and it left a dark mark. She had on a collar, but, they can easily take that off and throw it away.
Sure. A fairly average-looking Yorkie, is that correct?
She was the teacup one, the small one. I think
small
less than 5 pounds.
Okay. If you're listening, you happen to have found this dog. What's the dog's name? What's her name?
Duchess.
Duchess. Give us a call at 1-866-405-8405, and we'll hook you up with Annette and hopefully get a reunion there. We wish you the best of luck with that. I know it's a tough time, but
I know
keep
my
looking.
granddaughter's having a fit.
Keep looking. Just keep looking. Don't give up, okay?
Okay, I will.
Thanks, Annette.
And thank you, guys.
Always kind of a tough situation, but that's an example for those listening. GPS, microchip, just a regular tag, all of these work.
And if you have workers come to your house, put your dog away. Put him in a different room or something that's not going to be affected. Because the workers, I'm not saying they can take them, but sometimes they do leave doors and gates open.
I actually had a phone company worker leave a door open into my bird room when I lived with canaries, and one of them got out and my cat got it.
Don't forget, you can get your fix of Animal Radio anytime you want with the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. It's made possible by Fear Free, helping your pets live their happiest, healthiest, fullest lives at home, at the vet, and everywhere in between. Visit them at fearfree.com to find care near you.
Is diabetes keeping you from enjoying life's special moments? At US Med, we understand the challenges you face, and we're here to help.
With US Med, I can finally manage my diabetes without it managing me.
US Med offers a wide range of services to simplify your diabetes care. Personalized care plans, convenient access to cutting-edge diabetes tech, and knowledgeable support. Plus, we'll check your insurance so your diabetes care may be covered at little or no cost to you.
With US Med, I feel confident and control of my diabetes. I can finally live my life to the fullest.
Don't let diabetes hold you back. Choose US Med and experience better birthdays, better adventures, better anniversaries, and better everything. Call now. US Med. Better service, better care. 800-434-5019. 800-434-5019. 800-434-5019. That's 800-434-5019.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
How about we talk to Josh? You want to talk to Josh? Hey, Josh, how are you doing?
Good, and you?
Splendid. Where are you calling from today?
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Is that home?
Yes.
Okay.
What's that?
I just asked if that was home. I'm being nosy.
You asking for what he had for lunch, too?
Yeah.
Well, what's going on, Josh? This is Dr. Debbie here.
I have she's about 6 months Shih Tzu that we've gotten. We've had in the family for 6 months now. And she has a constant battle of fleas. We have tried everything from collars to dips to drops to shampoos to bombing the house out with, to get rid of all the insects and stuff, and we cannot get rid of them, and we feel so bad for her. I mean, it gets to the point where they end up on my daughter a lot of times, or my wife even.
Oh, yeah. Ugh, icky. I know. Fleas are nasty things, and I'd have to tell you, this among many years, we've had some really bad flea seasons across the country. So the thing you have to realize is fleas exist outdoors. You are not going to kill all the fleas in the world. The goal and the challenge that you have is to try to control them on your dog and in your home. So as long as your doggy is going outside, we have the risk of being reinfested with fleas. So you got to recognize that, because a lot of people get very frustrated with flea control, and obviously we want them out of our house and off of the pets and ourselves, but this is a cycle that is always going to be at risk if you're in a heavy flea area. So for me, that's the first thing. And the next steps that we really have to look at is that flea control isn't a one-time thing. It can take repeated treatment for the flea life cycle to really be extinguished. So just keep in mind, when we talk about fleas and their life cycle, 5% of the whole flea life cycle accounts for the adults that are actually on the pet. So there's 95% of fleas that are in the eggs, the pupa, and the larva stages elsewhere in your home that have not hatched. So you may be treating your pet, but in order to kill off those immature stages, it's going to take more work. And that's the biggest thing, is to really stay faithful. So I always say we got to go for at least 3 months continuously before we can expect all those different generations of the flea life cycle to be squashed. And if your pet is going back outside, we're getting reinfested. So you're getting new generations that are going to be coming on, new adults that are going to be popping onto the pet. So,
is there any product better than other ones?
There's a lot of question about that, and I'll tell you, what I recommend is really using different products that hit different cycles of the flea life cycle. So if you're just using a flea collar, most of those really aren't very effective in treating a pet globally for this flea problem. So I like to use a combination of an oral product and kind of like a spot-on product. And what many of the oral products do is they're quick kills. So those you generally give once a month. Sometimes we'll do those more frequently, even as often as a couple times a week, daily in really bad cases. Those you'll need to see your veterinarian for, but those kill off the adults very effectively, and many of them shortly after the pill, those suckers will be hopping off. So I always kind of recommend to do this and keep your pets outside, keep those fleas from hopping back on. But that is definitely a good way, is to start with the orals to kill off the adults, and then we follow up with a product that has something that's going to affect the different generations of the fleas. So with those, just throwing out some different names out there. For instance, Frontline is their basic product. Frontline Plus has a component that treats those immature forms. So you want to kind of work with your veterinarian to make sure you're getting the right stuff and that we're using it frequently enough. There is also talk out there that there could be resistance that fleas are developing to a lot of our common pest control products or flea control products. And there's some debate on that, but some different strategies we find is that if we use different products and we kind of switch it up at different times of the season, kind of helps to not stick with one product, and hopefully those fleas don't get resistant to our efforts with those medications. So I don't have a single product that I would really tell you, but some of the different oral ones, Capstar is one, and then Advantage or Advantix 2 is another that has an insect growth regulator that gets kind of more generations of fleas. So that is kind of the scoop, and I would have to tell you, if she's 10, you said 10 months old, 5 months old?
She's 6 months old.
6 months old. So she's just a baby. So she's just developing those whole generations of eggs, going to larva, going to the pupa, and then going to the adult. So you're going to have to keep battling this. Now, do you have cats, other pets in the home?
I have one cat. She's 10 years old. She stays in the house.
Okay. So, and then we also have to make sure we are treating her for fleas at the same time.
We do. It's a battle trying to get her and trying to clean her up, but she does not like the water.
Yeah, and that's where baths and dips, you can do that, but in a lot of cases, I'm a fan of some of the spot-on products that have a sustained effect that lasts for about a month. You may find less scratches giving your cat than giving your cat a bath, but always with kitties. And I like to just kind of get that out there for listeners. Cats are very sensitive to a lot of the dog flea control products, so you don't want to mix and match. You always want to use the full amount of the product on your pet, whether it's a dog or cat. Don't split doses to try to save money between your pets, and make sure you're battling it on a regular basis. So if you haven't talked to your vet, I would pick up that phone call and see if you need to get on one of the oral flea medications to help facilitate your battle with the flea.
Okay, I appreciate it very much.
Thanks for your call, Josh.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. You know what? We were battling the fleas, and we used the spot-ons, and we actually changed from one spot-on to another, and suddenly it started to work. I guess they got some kind of resistance. But the Comfortis, which is the pill that you were talking about earlier, I don't know if by name, a great pill that we've used in our cat. It has rid him of any fleas, and he had the what do they call that?
It was just covered in
Miliary dermatitis. So
Yes.
flea allergy dermatitis, and it's definitely helpful for those guys.
It worked wonders. It was miracle drug.
Stacy, what do you got coming up?
Well, there was a major archaeological find in Germany, and some badgers found it. I mean, we're talking really old stuff. 12th century burial site was found. I'll tell you what they dug up coming up on Animal Radio News.
I don't need no stinking badgers.
Thanks for calling the Veteran Car Donation Program. How can I help you?
Can you come and pick up my car and give me that tax deduction I've heard all about?
Sure, we can pick it up in about 2 business days or less.
Call right now and donate your car to help our veterans. Call 800-927-9819. 800-927-9819. 800-927-9819. Call right now. 800-927-9819.
This is an Animal Radio News Update.
I'm Stacy Cohen for Animal Radio. Well, there's a pair of seeing eye dogs, and they're getting credit for leading their owners to love. According to NBC's Today Show, Claire Johnson and Mark Gaffey first met at a course for their guide dogs, Rod and Venice. They met last year in Shrewsbury, England. Apparently, though, the guide dogs were inseparable, and the dogs seemed to be falling in love. Their visually impaired owners soon followed suit. Just months after Claire and Mark began their own romantic relationship, they're now planning to get married. And during the ceremony, the couple planned to honor their dogs for helping them find love with a wedding cake decorated with bones and paw prints. Cute. Gaffey says Rod and Venice are central to the whole thing because the dogs brought them together. Well, do you ever yawn and then somebody next to you yawns? Contagious yawns may not be unique just to humans. They did a Japanese study, and it was published in the journal PLOS. And it shows that dogs tend to yawn after a person yawns. Researchers also found that dogs are more likely to yawn after a human if that person is their owner. The study author, Teresa Romero, says that the research shows contagious yawning in dogs is emotionally connected in a way that's similar to humans. While they weren't able to determine the exact reason that dogs mimic yawns, they were able to rule out that it was a type of distress response to seeing a strained human face. While many of the dogs repeatedly followed their owners in yawning, 14 dogs did not yawn at all. It made me want to yawn. The owners of Auburn's Flying Pig Barbecue are hoping for the return of Super Porky. And it's not one of their customers. It's a company mascot. The 50-pound carved wooden pig disappeared sometime last week. And George Miller, who owns the restaurant, says the pig was made for him by a relative, and they're asking for whoever pig-napped him to bring him home. No questions asked. You know what? I had a cow once. I may have told you this. A life-size cow. It wasn't a real cow, but it was a one of those fake ones, and I had it in my front yard, and it was pink with yellow polka dots, and my neighbors stole it. I never got it back, and that cow was expensive too. It was like $500. Okay, a new study indicates that dolphins are capable of recognizing a tank mate's whistle even after they're separated for as many as 20 years. It's the longest social memory ever recorded for a non-human. University of Chicago scientist Jason Bruck studied 56 bottlenose dolphins that were moved between 6 different institutions, and such long-term memory puts dolphins in the same category as monkeys and elephants, which show a similar capability. The study is published online in the journal Proceedings of the Royal Society of London B. Well, remember Flipper? He was human-like. I'm Stacy Cohen. Get more animal breaking news at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update. Get more at animalradio.com.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Here's Hal and Judy.
The hair of a cat ratted out a British murder suspect. Yes, fingerprints are not the only thing that killers can leave behind.
Whoa.
Now add cat hair to that list.
Oh, Hal, you'd never get away with anything.
I wouldn't.
You're covered with cat hair all the time.
I make sure there's a certain amount of cat hair in my food.
You bring your own to restaurants.
I do, to restaurants.
Yeah.
British University said Wednesday that its DNA database of British felines helped convict a man of manslaughter.
Wow.
Yeah. And I guess investigators identified cat hair discovered around the dismembered torso of the gentleman that was the victim. And they matched the hair to the cat belonging to a man's friend, David Hilder, who was convicted.
That's amazing.
And you know what?
It is amazing.
Cats are not only helping out in court now with their cat hair, but dogs are helping out in the courtroom. And this came across my desk this morning. This comes out of Dickinson County, Tennessee. A new program is allowing dogs inside courtrooms.
How awesome.
This is great, because I've always thought the courtroom's kind of a tense place to be.
Extremely. I've worked for judges, and it's not a fun place to be. It's very tense.
So the Courthouse Dogs Foundation, founded by Ellen O'Neill-Stephens, has 39 dogs in the program in the courthouse in Tennessee. I believe we have her on the phone. She's traveling across the country. Hi, Ellen. How are you doing?
Oh, good afternoon. I'm just doing fine. Thank you.
Where are you right now?
Right now, we're between Abilene, Texas, and Dallas, Texas, in a little town pulled off to the side of the road in Ranger, Texas.
Wow. Okay. Are you on your way? Is this work-related? Are you vacationing? What's going on?
It's a little bit of both. We just finished attending the Crimes Against Children's Conference in Dallas, Texas.
Oh.
And spreading the word about the use of courthouse dogs assisting in the investigation and prosecution of crimes.
Now, you're a former prosecutor, right?
That's correct. I was a prosecutor for 26 years in Seattle, Washington.
What made you decide to add dogs to the mix?
Well, during the 2 decades that I worked there, I saw a great deal of pain and suffering experienced by many people, not only victims and witnesses of crime, but many people are affected by the stress of the investigation and prosecution of crimes. And so one day, my son, who has cerebral palsy, came home with this fabulous service dog that we got for him from Canine Companions for Independence. And there was one day a week when his dog Jeter couldn't be with him. And I was working in juvenile drug court at the time. And I thought, well, maybe Sean's dog Jeter could help these kids in their recovery. And I brought him to drug court. It was a little unusual to have a dog there, but he was a huge success. And then word got out about this, and I had prosecutors from my office saying, well, do you think Jeter could help these twin girls that have been sexually assaulted by their father? And I said, I think so. And Jeter did. He went into the courtroom with them in 2004 and helped them. They were only 7 years old. Were with them when they testified against their father, who was just a few feet away from them. And it made a huge difference.
Is this now? Are they being used only with situations with children, or are they being used all around? Because I know if I was on the stand, I certainly would want a dog next to me. And I'm just a child in my head, really, is all I am.
So it is our philosophy that the dogs should be available to anyone affected by stress during the course of criminal justice proceedings. But they also help defendants in veterans court, mental health court, DUI court, and we were very excited to help probation officers in York County, Pennsylvania, have a dog begin assisting veterans in their veterans court there. Many of these men and women suffer from post-traumatic stress syndrome, and having a dog there help them through that process makes a huge difference to them as well.
Have you ever run up against any opposition, any judges refusing to allow dogs in their courtroom or any other attorneys opposing it?
Well, yes. The primary objection is from defense attorneys who, if the dog is assisting in the courtroom, they raise the objection saying, well, look, Judge, everybody likes dogs, especially dogs that are, very appealing like these dogs are. Mm-hmm. And if they are associated with the state's witness in the witness box while he or she is testifying in court, the jury is going to like the state's witness more than my client.
Oh.
And that's prejudicial to my client. But what most defense attorneys don't realize, and judges, and that's why we try to educate them about this, is that these dogs are so well trained they can lie perfectly still for an hour or two and are often completely hidden in the witness box.
At their feet.
And
right.
They're able to provide that support with really not being any distraction whatsoever.
Huh. All very interesting. Where can we learn more? There's a website.
Yes, in Seattle in November, and information about that conference is on our website. We have people from Chile that will be participating, a judge and an assistant dog trainer, and law enforcement from Canada who will also be participating in our organization. So we are spreading. Oh, and I just do want to mention one thing. The Hague in the Netherlands contacted Courthouse Dogs Foundation and asked us to apply for an award for innovation in the criminal justice field. And they accepted our application, and we certainly hope we win that prize.
You're an outside-the-box thinker. That was just a wonderful idea. Can you recall a case that stands out in your mind where a dog really made a huge difference?
Well, I have to say the case that's now pending in front of our Supreme Court in Washington State. So the appellate court affirmed the presence of the dog, and that was taken up to our state Supreme Court. And this was a 58-year-old man who is cognitively and physically impaired, and this young woman took advantage of him, took all of $150,000 that he had saved over a lifetime for his retirement, and spent all of his money. And he was devastated by this. And he had our courthouse dog in King County, Washington, with him during the defense interviews, during the trial, and he said that at the end of the trial, I owe Ellie one great big hamburger for the help that she did.
At least. Oh, just wonderful work these animals are doing. Ellen, thank you so much for joining us. We hope to check in with you again.
Thank you so much.
Take care. There you go. Former Prosecutor Ellen O'Neill-Stephens, founder of the Courthouse Dogs Foundation on Animal Radio.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Hi, this is Elaine Hendricks on Animal Radio. Please, adopt a pet.
You hear that? That's the sound of uncertainty lurking under your hood. You know the feeling. I know I do. That sudden sinking sensation when you see a check engine light or your car unexpectedly breaks down and you're faced with sky-high repair bills. It's time to shield against unexpected repairs with CarShield. CarShield is America's most trusted auto protection company and has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Don't let the fear of a breakdown keep you up at night. Trust the Shield, CarShield, and say goodbye to terrifying repair bills and hello to peace of mind. Your plan also comes with 24/7 roadside assistance, courtesy towing, rental car options, and so much more. Don't wait till it's too late. Call CarShield now before a breakdown. Protect your wallet. Protect your car with CarShield. Get our best protection ever. Call now. You'll thank me later. 800-987-0618. 800-987-0618. That's 800-987-0618.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Hi, Sigonia. How are you?
Hi, it's actually Sigonia, but thank you.
Sigonia. Okay.
Yeah.
Where are you calling from today?
Palos Verdes.
What's going on, and how can we help you?
Well, I have two Yorkies, and the one that's really in question is Tucker. She had been lost for literally over a year. She was returned to us finally, thankfully, through a chip. And so we've had her back now for about 6 years. And during that time that she was gone, we got another dog, also a Yorkie. So they're two females. And from the beginning, Tucker, the one that was lost, had tried to kind of assert her dominance, and Lucy was pretty passive. But now Lucy has gotten definitely more aggressive. Well, the biggest problem recently that has happened, Tucker eats, since she's been returned to us, she inhales her food. She doesn't chew it. So I started feeding Lucy just a nanosecond before I'd feed Tucker. I don't know whether that sort of let Tucker know that Lucy was more dominant now. Anyway, the problem that has occurred recently is that I am virtually positive it's Tucker that has recently started to pee on a couch and defecate on an ottoman. I mean, she's had, quote, the accidents before, or not using the potty pad and using it on a carpet or something, but never on furniture, ever. And she did it twice, urinating, and once defecating. Just more like desperate, obviously, for answers right now. She doesn't appear to have any kind of physical problem. You know, she's eating and playing and doing all that kind of stuff, so it doesn't appear that there's an illness. But I haven't.
You're stressed out. You're stressed out and anxious about the whole thing, right?
Well, don't like dogs peeing and pooping on my furniture.
Of course not. What do you do when your dog pees and poops? When you find it, what do you do? What's the first thing you do?
Probably yell.
You yell, okay, and you're yelling at you're yelling at the dog.
Well, first, no. When I first discover it, not at the dog, but because I do believe that was the dog that brought it in, I do bring her in to look at it.
And see, that just does no good, because about a minute after she does it, she doesn't even remember doing it. She just knows it's poop and pee. That's all she's getting from it. And she's getting that you're mad because there's poop and pee, but she doesn't associate doing it and you being mad.
Right.
So, you have two dogs basically fighting for dominance, and it's very, very common for a dog's age to determine their dominance. Like a dog gets a little older, they become a little bit more aggressive. So they're challenging each other. But the real problem is that you're not the leader. You have to be in charge. The dogs can't be in charge. And when dogs are in charge, it causes stress and anxiety and all kinds of problems like chewing, peeing, biting, barking, all kinds of problems. So you have to change your behavior. You have to be a calm, confident leader, and you have to be in charge. And there are things you can do. First of all, you've got to keep the dog that's peeing inside of a crate so that she or he can't do it. Okay? And then you've got to have structure so that the dogs go out the same time each day. And you talked about food. You've got to be in control of the food. So the dog doesn't just get the food. You hold on to the food. You stand there. You make the dog sit, and then you put the food down, and you make the dog wait until you say it's okay to eat the food. There's a lot of things you can do to demonstrate you're a leader, like not letting the dog sit on the couch where you sit. If the dog's on your furniture and it's in your spot, you push it out of the way. When you walk the dogs, you've got to walk them together. They've got to be at your side, not in front of you. They've got to be at your side. When you enter the house, you've got to come in first. When you leave the house, you go out first. It's just simple little things like that to demonstrate you're in charge.
The one problem that I will really say I have a tremendous challenge with is if I try and crate this dog, she screams at the most horrendous pitch, unending.
Well, you've got to teach her that the crate is a good place. See, all of this stuff takes a lot of patience, persistence, and time. It doesn't happen overnight. So basically, what you have to do is teach her the crate is a fun place to be. And you leave the door open, you start feeding her in the crate. You give her treats when she's in the crate. You leave the door open. When she starts being comfortable enough to go in the crate by herself, you'll start closing the door for 20 minutes, and then you'll lengthen it to 40 minutes, and then you'll lengthen it to 50 minutes, and you'll give her treats while she's in there, and you're always happy when she comes out. But a dog that hasn't been crated its whole life, well, yeah, it's not going to want to go in there. Now, as far as barking and making noise, you've got to learn to ignore that. And a good thing to do with a dog that's barking or a dog that is making noise and you don't want to give that dog attention, but it's driving you crazy, is if you have a laundry room or a closet or some room like that you don't use in your house, you can make that a room where a dog goes to have basically a timeout. It's a timeout room. When your dog is barking and misbehaving, you tell your dog, hey, I'm going to put you in timeout. And they hate going there. And they learn very quickly that you're not going to pay any attention to them when they bark. You're only going to pay attention and give affection when they're calm, when they're behaving mellow, when they're laying there on their rug. You never give a dog attention except when they're doing what you want. When they're doing what you don't want, you totally ignore them. When they poop in the house, unless you're catching them in the act, punishing them after does no good. It just teaches them that you're going to get crazy if you see poop in the house. They don't know they did it, though.
Alan, you always do mention that we have to keep the medical thoughts in mind. But yes, I have actually seen a change in many situations where there's a change in the hierarchy of the household, where the older or the dominant dog suddenly is being challenged by the younger dogs in the home in different ways. And sometimes this can actually be a clue that there is a medical problem wrong with the older dog. So even though she seems perfectly fine, I would certainly recommend getting her checked out, especially for urinary tract issues, lower spine issues, arthritis, because those can also contribute to some of the problems with mobility, where she may choose to go where she's at, and she may be saying, hey, this is my central zone, this is my area, I'm going to kind of mark it, but I'm also having trouble getting outside, and I don't want to show my weakness.
Dr. Debbie's absolutely right. Dogs are constantly challenging you, and they're challenging each other to redefine the pack hierarchy. They're going to do that. But it's very important for you to be the head dog.
Thousands of authors across the country have written books and published them with Page Publishing. If you've written a book, they can help you through the process, cut through the confusion of the publishing world to make it easy for you. If they decide to publish your book, your work ends, theirs begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art. Plus, get your book printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, and in bookstores across the country. They even help promote your book. Biography, self-help, mystery, novels, sci-fi, or even a children's book. No matter what genre, Page Publishing can bring your book to life. And don't forget to ask about audiobooks. We do all of this for you. Call today for your free writer's guide packed with tips, tricks, and templates to help you finish what you started.
800-215-6815. 800-215-6815. 800-215-6815. That's 800-215-6815.
Celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team, veterinarian Dr. Debbie White and groomer Joey Villani. And here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
We're all here except Joey Villani, who's not here today. And in place of Joey Villani, Alan has brought in his dog, Rudy, right? Is it Rudy?
Rudy Villani, yes.
Rudy Villani. And I'll be real honest with you, Rudy kind of smells.
Yes, he does.
Oh, poor fella.
Yeah.
He's got an ear thing going on right now.
So that's all coming from his ear?
Yeah, I got to get him into the vet, but I have to wait till Monday.
Oh, my goodness. Now, has he had this before?
I don't think so, no. No, it smells, and I just cleaned it out with a paper towel, and it's got a little bit. He's got an infection. I'm sure it's an infection, and I'm worried because I wish I could get him in right now, but I can't.
Gosh, well, why isn't your vet open every day of the week like I am?
I know. Are you really?
Crazy, man.
Are you there every day?
Most vets aren't.
I am not in the clinic every day, but I often work Sundays and all throughout the week.
Man.
So yeah, we are staffed in my area every day of the week. But in answer to your question, if you have concerns that your pet has an ear infection and you can't get to the vet right away, if you don't have a product on the shelf from your veterinarian for ear cleansing, then I actually will recommend to do a homemade ear cleaner.
Really?
And you can do this. Yeah, you can do this really easily with kind of diluting white vinegar with. I usually use distilled water. So we do it a 1 part to 4 parts. So 25% is going to be the white vinegar, and then 3/4 is going to be the distilled water. So you mix that together, and that helps to clean the ear, and it helps to change the pH of the environment in the ear so it's more acidic, and that's unfavorable to organisms like yeast and bacteria. Now, your veterinarian will certainly have better products that are more, pH balanced, that also have boric acid in them and things like that. But that would be something you can definitely do right now, and put that in the ears, massage it, gently clean. I don't use Q-tips. I generally use cotton balls or Kleenex, especially for a big dog. You can stick your whole finger in their ear and clean up pretty nicely.
That's awesome, girl. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Is that a common problem? Because a lot of people call and say they have smelly dog ears.
Yeah, and smelly ears, definitely. If you smell something that stinks in your dog's ear, the first thing I think of is yeast and bacteria.
Okay.
Normal dog ear wax does not smell. It just kind of has a good smell, if you could say that.
Yeah,
I do.
And this happens more in dogs that have the ears that fold down instead of ears that are picked up?
Depends. Not necessarily. There are definitely breeds like the Cocker Spaniel, and I think that's where some of that comes from, is that people think that because they have those droopy ears, that's why they have more ear infections. But in reality, some breeds are more predisposed to ear infections, like Cocker Spaniels, who have a lot of allergies. Allergies kind of go hand in hand with ear infections. So they can have upright ears just like a, German Shepherd.
Well, let me ask you this question, because I know Alan takes the dog. Rudy goes swimming. He swims in the lake.
You know what it is, though? He jumped in. I give him permission to chase a rabbit because I did not see that there was like a marsh there, and neither did he. So there must have been all kinds of junk in that thing, and it got in his head, and now it's developed into So I've got
so definitely make sure you do get that guy checked out, because he may need some antibiotics both orally and maybe even in an ointment form to really.
So I'm going to take him to the vet that he wants to eat on Monday.
Yeah, well, make sure you feed him well beforehand. That we always appreciate appreciate that.
I feed him well. He just, I think when he had his knee surgeries, I don't think they put him, because the vet is such a good vet, like you, Dr. Debbie, and I don't think they put him out. They're very, very conservative with the
anesthesia.
Anesthesia, yes. So I think the dog was awake and feeling the pain. Yeah,
Pucky.
I think so.
No, Pucky.
Well, he remembers this vet. I mean, it's just this one guy, and when he sees this guy, he's like, I'm going to kill him. That's what goes on in his head.
Maybe so, definitely. But he was not awake for his surgery. Please don't spread that kind of thing. We have to have our pets under anesthesia for surgery. Movement.
But isn't it possible that they can come out a little too early or something, and they can see the person and associate the smells and the pain and all that
in the
stuff?
modern veterinary office, we can assess if a pet is unconscious pretty well. We watch heart rate, respiratory rate, and that's adjusted. Now, what they will remember, they wake up, ouch, my leg hurts, where am I at? I'm at a vet's office. I've had dogs where they walk in the door and they see this one door that heads back to what we call our treatment room. They see the door and the door freaks them out. They've been through that door before, so they know they don't want to go through that. So they definitely can have, reactions to different areas or sites, places, smells, all of that thing, can all trigger a fear response.
Are you sure you can tell when a dog is out? Because Hal's out right now and nobody can tell.
Breathe, Hal, breathe.
Sorry about that.
Thanks, man. I'm going to go to the store right after we're done.
Well, I have a little vinegar here. We can do this right here before the end of the show.
Yeah, you're welcome to try, Hal.
I wouldn't do it. I'll let Dr. Debbie do it.
Yeah, Deb can do it.
I know
Deb,
that
he likes you, Deb.
He does.
I have a way with males.
You do. And even females. Ladybug kind of takes to you. Well, at first she didn't.
Well, when she first met me, I think she smelled the office on me. And now, she's got past that.
She tolerates you.
Hey, Stacy, what are you working on?
Coming up, I've got a story about a bunch of dogs that were trying to break a world record. Not just 10 or 12 dogs. We're talking 635 dogs, all in the same place. Did it happen?
I believe it did happen. That was the most butts ever sniffed in a day.
I'll tell you. Coming up on Animal Radio News.
It was a wonderful record to behold.
Let's see. Let's head to John. Hey, John. How are you doing?
Hi. This is John.
Where are you calling from, John?
Antelope, California. One town south of Roseville.
So what do you got going on?
Well, I got a little puppy. He's 6 months old, and it's just a miniature poodle, and she's sweet as can be. We're worried about feeding her ice cream. We don't know anything about that sort of thing.
Okay. You're worried about it? Is she currently eating ice cream?
Yeah, we feed her a dollop once in a while. Vanilla.
Okay. So you're looking to ask me for permission to give your dog ice cream. Is that right?
Will it hurt her?
Well, it depends. There are certainly dogs that have very sensitive stomachs, and veering from their regular diet can upset their system. The interesting thing that people need to recognize is that dogs and cats, a good majority of them, are actually lactose intolerant. So that's something to think about when we start offering them different dairy products, that can cause some dietary upset. And it may not be a life-threatening illness, but, we might talk about excess gas, soft stools, maybe some vomiting. As a child, I can tell you my dog, he definitely dined on cleaning the ice cream bowl, a regular occurrence. So a little bit probably is not going to be a big deal, but in general, there's a lot of fat in ice cream and calories that we really just don't need to do. So I'm not going to give you that clearance to say it's okay to give ice cream. It would just be something I would try to discourage.
Why not give him a chunk of meat? Give him some meat. Dogs love meat. Give him some meat, a chunk of meat.
That's interesting. The local young man at a pet store suggested I take and put peanut butter in wet dog food and freeze it, and then give him that.
Well, that can be kind of a fun treat, but I would say rather than put it in the food, frozen peanut butter can be very useful when we're trying to get dogs to be occupied, chew on toys. So you can take a little bit of peanut butter, stick it inside a Kong or another kind of chewing toy, and keep them occupied. I don't want to just give dogs food. That really, it's pretty ungratifying. I mean, yes, they like to eat it, and it's yummy, but it doesn't really occupy their mind or their chewing instincts. So I like the frozen peanut butter in a toy. I don't like throwing it in the bowl. It's not letting a dog be a dog.
Okay, thank you.
That, Deb.
Yeah. One last question. I just got told yesterday that it's dangerous to feed dog grapes.
Grapes?
Yes, that's actually true. Grapes and raisins have the potential to cause kidney failure in dogs.
Oh, really?
And it's very true. And that's another thing where people will say, I've done it before and my dog is perfectly fine. It's something they are looking at. They don't know really what the toxic principle is, but it can happen. So do not feed grapes or raisins to your dogs.
Thank you, Debbie. And what about chocolate?
Chocolate. Oh, that's another one. Chocolate's a no-no. And small amounts aren't likely to be toxic, but you can certainly get a taste. They'll develop a taste for chocolate. And my own dear Labrador had ingested several pounds of chocolate items and had the world's worst chocolate toxicity. He had heart arrhythmias, vomiting. It was a really bad state. So it can be toxic in large amounts. So I don't like to do it at all.
Okay, we don't do that. We just feed her vanilla, a little scoop of vanilla, a tiny little tablespoonful.
Yeah, and there's so many, fun, kind of healthy dog treats out there that can be flavored like chocolate, but they really don't contain chocolate. So if you feel the urge to give something like that, you can always reach to the pet store to find something.
Thank you, Debbie.
I remember the peanut butter that wasn't really peanut butter. It's dog peanut butter. Dog butter is what they call it. From Dog for Dog, which is much better.
Formulated and healthier for dogs.
Good for them, so you might check that out. We have a list over at the website at animalradio.com of foods you should not feed your dog, which includes, of course, grapes and raisins. Thank you for calling.
Thank you. I enjoyed it very much. Thank you very much.
What are you laughing at?
That guy had a whole grocery list, What about this? Can I feed him this? What about that? What about...
That's great.
So
he knows.
funny.
Once you get a professional's ear, you just keep shooting out those questions. You get the best time for your money.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Pistachio nuts. Can I feed him pistachio nuts? What about caviar?
Yeah.
Caviar. Is that good? Is that okay?
I also have this little sore on my butt.
I feed him shrimp. Do I take the little legs off? What do I do?
So what was that?
Well, I was going to do it because I wanted it to go on air. Whatever.
Oh, you did.
Say.
Oh, well then tell him do it again. Do it again. What was it?
Yeah, Hal. I didn't like the way you addressed Judy. You better take it back.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
I did it because I wanted to say this on air.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yes,
You're on air. Tell us what it was.
I was going to say I had our next caller lined up, but she refused to go on air. She was going to come on, Debbie. This was going to be Julie. She was going to come on and say that she bathed her dog and she took her to the groomer, but he still stinks. And she didn't know why. Well, now she says she found out he rolled in something, had something all over him, and she picked it all off, and he doesn't smell anymore.
Oh, well, that's good.
You know what? There are sometimes the mystery smells that come walking in the veterinary office. So I don't think, Julie, you should feel bad at all. I've had dogs come in that people are bathing their dogs with medicated shampoos, can't find the stink, and, it might turn out to be something like a stinky old collar that's just the dog's been jumping in the pool.
Really?
Yes, I was a savior. I saved these people. They were just ready to spend money, and I said, you know what? Let me take the collar off. And I took it off. I was like, oh boy, you got a really stinky collar. You got to get a new one. Yeah. And $40 later, they got the answer.
I know.
Was it $40 for the answer or $40 for the collar?
For the office
I know
visit,
once a month, just to see Dr. Debbie, I cover my dog with some foreign smell and play with myself called Guess the Smell. The game Guess the Smell. See if she can do it.
You're really ingenious. You're ingenious, man.
I come up with things.
You do.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
I would love to go on vacation, but I don't want to leave our Charlie behind.
I agree. I heard that the magazine Fido Friendly lists places where you can stay with your pet. They also offer reviews so you have an idea about pet policy to include any restrictions, fees, and what pet amenities to expect.
That's, dare I say, awesome. What are we waiting for?
I'm way ahead of you. I just logged on to FidoFriendly.com and found a 4-star resort. Hilton Santa Fe Resort and Spa at Buffalo Thunder in New Mexico.
Charlie agrees. When do we leave?
As soon as you can pack your bags. It's off to adventure with Charlie, thanks to Fido Friendly Magazine. To find your next family adventure that includes your furry family friend, log on to FidoFriendly.com.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Dr. Debbie, did you hear the story, the pit bull cop story out of Baltimore?
No, I don't think I have.
I'm having deja vu right now. I don't know why. But anyway. Well, anyway, these people in this neighborhood, as people often do, they misunderstand the poor little pit bulls. And, they called the cops and they said, there's a vicious dog terrorizing our neighborhood. Please send help. And so this officer showed up, and thank goodness he was a dog lover. And, the dog was just terrified and ran into an alley. And he followed the dog in there to see, how vicious this dog was. And the dog immediately just walked up to him with his tail between his legs and started licking his hand, this 80-pound pit bull. So the cop's like, okay, so he puts him in the back of the cruiser and gets in there with him and has his buddy drive, and they bring him to the shelter, and the cop can't do it. He says to himself, if I bring the dog in there, they're going to put him to sleep. So the cop wound up taking him home. He's got 2 other dogs, and they're all getting along just fine. And turns out this dog was just a pit bull, but he's a sweetheart. And I just hope people have an open mind when it comes to pit bulls. They have such a bad rap. And did you know, like 10, 12 years ago, pit bulls enjoyed a fantastic reputation, that during World War I, there was actually pit bulls on posters in World War I. And then Spanky, Our Gang, the Little Rascals, that old TV show, that dog in the show there, he was a pit bull. So up until recently, pit bulls had a great rap, and now they just have such an awful reputation.
Well, it seems like there's a dog every 10 years that gets that bad rap. It was the German Shepherd. It was the Rottweiler.
Dobermans, yep.
I blame it on the media. And again, this week they reported another pit bull mauling. And, of course, some of the most...
You don't hear about the Chihuahua attacks.
No, you don't.
I get nailed by Chihuahuas all the time, but I don't go seek medical attention because you got a little puncture. But it's the pit bull. They can definitely put more damage to their bite than.
Yep. Hi, Mel. Welcome to the show.
Hi there.
What's going on?
We have a chinchilla. It's probably about 10 years old, and she's pretty much stopped chewing on things like she normally used to.
Okay.
And it looks like her teeth are getting a little longer.
Okay.
She does still eat, like her regular food and hay, but she's drooling a lot and seems to be drinking a lot more water.
Ooh, okay. She is drooling, so she's getting a little stained on her face with that?
Yep. Yeah, and I don't know if it's just because of the way she's drinking a much. It seems like a lot more.
All right. Now, normally people with rodents would say, oh, my God, they chew a lot already, so it's good when they don't chew. But in this situation, especially since you were describing that she's having drooling, gosh, I'd say the number one thing we need to do is a good dental exam on her. The front teeth, the incisors are one thing, but the back teeth, the molars in chinchillas as well as rabbits can really be a huge problem. They are continually growing and they continually wear the opposing teeth down. If they start to get little spikes and overgrow in aspects, that creates cheek pain, or it can even entrap the tongue. So it can be quite serious. And if we're giving up on some of those chewing items or some of the different hay items, those are some of the first signs that I say that we need to get a good look inside that oral cavity and evaluate those teeth. Many chinchillas do need to have their teeth trimmed, so getting a good look is part of it, and then doing any kind of dental care that we might need to trim the teeth, or heaven forbid, if there's any bad ones that are actually creating abscesses, then surgically extracting those would be the way to proceed there. But I'd say definitely the first thing I would do is get a good look inside that mouth and, make sure your veterinarian's comfortable looking at chinchilla mouths, because they are little interesting little critters, and they got a lot of crooked little teeth in that mouth, and it can be very overwhelming if they're not comfortable with that.
Got it.
They're soft, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
They're beautiful.
You have to make gloves out of them.
They do make gloves.
Oh,
no.
Not this one.
What is their normal lifespan, Dr. Debbie?
Actually, your baby sounds like we're already pretty much in the older years of chinchillas. So, yeah, I do see them living 8, 10, 12 years. But certainly hope that your baby sees many more years beyond that.
Thanks for your call today. Whether it be flamingos or chinchillas or whatever it is, Dr. Debbie can handle it.
Greetings, Animal Radio lovers. Vinny Penn, your party animal, coming at you with another party animal installment. I actually have a question for you. One of my last days on the beach, I noticed something very interesting. There was one guy on the beach who had a newborn with him, about a year old, year and a half old, kind of taking his first little lumbering steps on the sand, and the guy was there without baby's mother. And to my left, a bit of a ways down, was another gentleman who was frolicking with a dog in somewhat the same capacity. And I swear, if I'm not mistaken, the guy with the dog was getting more, the girls were staring at him much more than the guy with the baby. Well, I guess as I say it out loud, women seeing a guy with a baby, they probably assume there's a mother not far off, and perhaps one who takes Taekwondo, or, maybe they're living in fear. Maybe that's why the guy with the dog, the dog is the ultimate chick magnet, particularly on the beach. You throw that Frisbee, and that dog comes running out, soaking wet, and does that shake, and you do a funny little, get me soaking wet. This dog was a chick magnet, and it wasn't even like it was, it was a Rottweiler or this beautiful chocolate lab or, anything of this nature. It was a straight-up mutt. Not that I'm anti-mutt by any stretch of the imagination, but the girls were running over, look at him, and the dog would shake the salt water on the girls. Don't do that. And they were laughing and everything. All I was thinking about was every time I took a girl to the beach, if I splashed water on their shore, she was like, you jerk, and stomped off to the concession stand, only to come back with French fries that she didn't share. The dog is a chick magnet more than a kid. But as I said, I think I'm realizing on the air, because women probably presume kid's got a mother. Guy's probably taken. So I guess this really wasn't a question. Or maybe just that I answered my own question. Vinny Penn, Party Animal, on Animal Radio.
I never really understood the value of having a good credit score until I started to make a few purchases recently. Then it hit me like a ton of bricks. Because my credit score was in the 600s. I was borderline getting denied on my new apartment. And guess what? My new car payment is about 30% more. Having bad credit can even affect your credit card rates. Having a good credit score is important to your financial future, and you can save a lot of money. Call the Credit Pros right now. In a free phone call, we can tell you exactly how to improve your credit score. Plus, learn about our 60-day satisfaction guarantee. If you're not happy after 60 days, we'll give you 2 months free. Make this free call right now for a free consultation and free credit review. 800-292-6156. 800-292-6156. 800-292-6156. That's 800-292-6156.
This is an Animal Radio News Update.
I'm Stacey Cohen for Animal Radio. A badger has been credited with a major archaeological find in Germany. Badgers, they like dig up stuff. Well, the animal had dug up land and in the process unearthed some old human bones, like really old. Archaeologists were called in. They announced this week that the badger had discovered a 12th century burial site, which included graves of 2 Slavic lords and several warriors. The lords were buried with bronze bowls at their feet, while one of the warriors had a sword at his side. Archaeologist Thomas Kirsting said it was clear from the marks on one of the warriors' skull he was a pretty tough guy. He added that it's the first grave to be found in Brandenburg, so it's a pretty important discovery. The artifacts are going to be displayed at a local museum next month. Well, you know how state and county fairs, they always have a butter cow? At least they did in Ohio when I grew up. It was a big deal. That butter cow was pretty much the mascot of the Ohio State Fair. Iowa's iconic butter cow sculpture is back on display now after it was trashed by animal rights activists. Authorities say the culprits doused the large sculpture with red paint and they scrawled "Freedom for All" on the glass refrigerated case. A group called Iowans for Animal Liberation took credit for the attack in an email. They said the paint represents the blood of 11 billion animals murdered each year. The Iowa State Fair says that 600-pound cow sculpture, it uses enough butter to smother more than 19,000 slices of toast. Well, some dogs apparently don't care all that much about breaking a world's record. The UK's Daily Telegraph says the Kennel Club was attempting to set a new record for the largest assembly of dogs staying in one place at the same time. So to accomplish the goal, the animals had to either sit or stay in their designated spot for at least 2 minutes. But Kennel Club spokesman said some of the dogs just got a little too distracted, so they were up wandering around, sniffing each other's rear ends, so they didn't qualify. The Kennel Club had brought together 635 dogs in this attempt, but event organizers haven't given up. They say they're going to get the dogs back together again next year. Scientists are urging the media to stop saying shark attack. A group of scientists are asking the media to stop using that word. The American Elasmobranch Society, which studies sharks, rays, and various other creatures, believes that the term reinforces negative stereotypes and undermines shark conservation efforts and, their self-esteem. Instead, they encourage reporters to be more accurate and differentiate between shark sightings, shark encounters, shark bites, and fatal shark bites. I'm Stacey Cohen. Get more animal breaking news at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update. Get more at animalradio.com.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
It's Animal Radio. We are celebrating our connection with our pets. Dr. Debbie, dog trainer Alan Cable, animal communicator Joey Turner, and Joey Villani's on vacation well, he's not. He called in sick is what, right?
Or is he out dancing in the park?
We think he's dancing in the park.
Yeah.
He actually called in well.
He called in well. Can't make it because I'm feeling too good.
Too good.
Got to go out to the park. And that's exactly, I'm looking out the weather out of the studio right now. It's a beautiful day.
It's a dancing in the park day.
I want to get out there with the dog. But we got this to do. Did I bring everyone down? Everyone's looking out the window now.
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean? What do you mean we've got this to do? What does that mean? I mean, you get to do this fantastic radio show, talk to all these amazing people about dogs and cats, and you're making out like it's some sort of chore. You're the luckiest guy in the world.
You know,
That's
I really am. I really am, and I apologize if I made anyone think otherwise. I have the best job in the world, and I get to bring my animals to work, which creates an environment, a peaceful, relaxing environment around here. And the dogs, as we were talking earlier, are being used in the courtroom to help witnesses testify because it calms them. We see that there's a cat that's actually helped pin a murder suspect.
Yes.
So we see the animals are helping in all kinds of different ways. Now we have Rachel McPherson. She's the founder and executive director of the Good Dog Foundation. She joins us. And she's working on an anti-bullying program with the dogs. I got to figure out, bullying is the
Isn't
thing
it?
now.
It's finally, it's always been around, but it's finally being brought to everyone's attention. I was bullied in school.
Were you really?
So
I can't imagine. Were you? Well, Alan, I can understand that, really.
Yeah, I really was for a whole year. I was bullied by this kid. I didn't even know this kid.
Really? And what did you do? How did that end?
He would just walk up to me and punch me in the stomach and walk away. And this went on for a full year.
Wow.
And I swear, this is the God's honest truth. I mean, he took my wind away. I couldn't breathe. I was freaked out. I used to look out the windows of the school to see what exit he was at and take the other exit. Until one day, it was like the last day of school, or the day before the last day of school, and we didn't have buses. We walked in Brooklyn to school, and we had to walk a mile. And I was walking, and there he was behind me, and he comes up from behind me, and I just snapped. I just snapped like a nut, and I literally, they were pulling me off this kid. He was probably a foot taller than me, and he probably outweighed me by at least 50 pounds, and I was bashing his head into the sidewalk. I just snapped.
See, mine never got physical. It was all mental. This girl
Really?
threatened, that she was going to beat me up after school every day, so it was always just this mental thing. She never actually touched me, but every day, and I would be afraid to walk home. I would be let out 5 minutes early.
She was renting space in your head.
She did.
I think we were all bullied. I think that's why you get into radio, is you get bullied as a youngster.
He's still being bullied.
I am today, this very day. But anyway, Rachel McPherson, we welcome you to the show. Hi, Rachel. How are you doing?
Hi, how are you doing? Thank you so much for having me today.
I didn't mean to get off on a tangent there, but I think this anti-bullying thing is...
It's a great segue into what our program's all about.
Well, tell us what it is.
Well, as the cases that you just discussed, we have children in classrooms that talk about bullying to the dog. And what we do is we take the dog into the school classroom, and we really talk about how to treat a dog really well. And so we're dealing with, treating dogs with kindness and making sure that we take good care of our pets.
So when you take them into the classroom, you're focusing on the dog, really?
We're focusing on the dog, but what's amazing that happens is that by focusing on the dog, we also weave in, if you take good care of your dog, you should also take really good care of your friends. And have any of you had any situations where a friend has really not taken really good care of you, and then the bullying comes out?
So you're focusing on the bullier or the person that's being bullied?
We're focusing on the child that's been bullied, and then also some kids admit that they've actually done this.
You get them to admit it, huh?
Yes, we have because then they realize that they should be kinder to the dog and they should be kinder to their friends. So we have a complete discussion of all of the above.
Were you always a believer in the power of dogs? Because I've always known this about dogs, and human beings have pretty much thought inside that box and shut dogs out, and it's really encouraging to see folks like you take the lead and see what dogs are capable of doing for people. Have you always thought this way, or is it something you just learned recently?
I've actually always thought this way. I grew up as a child, and you can tell by the South in my mouth, in the state of Mississippi, and I used to train horses. And I had a lot of dogs, and I've always known the power of the human-animal bond. And I was going to do a documentary film about this, but then I realized it was against the law in the state of New York for dogs to go into major medical facilities. So I created the Good Dog Foundation, our training program, which our training program is really unique. And I created the foundation, and we now are in 390 facilities in 4 states, and we have over 1,100 trained dogs that assist. So we're the largest certifying animal-assisted therapy organization on the East Coast, the Good Dog Foundation.
That's so cool.
Doing great work. So I guess nonprofit, you are always looking for a little help one way or the other.
We're always looking for a little help, and we appreciate all the help that we get, and we love doing the work, and more importantly, the dogs are just amazing doing the work.
They sure are. TheGoodDogFoundation.org is the website. If you have a couple bucks and you want to help a good organization out, I'd head on over there. And, of course, links to everything you've heard on today's show over at AnimalRadio.com. Rachel, thanks for spending time with us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. You have a beautiful day out there in the park.
We'll do that as soon as this wonderful show is over with. And I'm sorry, I don't sound genuine, do I?
No, you don't, Hal.
I'm having a lot of fun today, but can we black out the windows? Can we close the curtains or something like that?
Draw the
You know what I want to expand on that. You know, the court lady where you bring the dogs into the courtroom. Like what if I was a defendant and I was calmed by like rappers? You know, and I wanted to bring Snoop Dogg in there with me or Coolio or something.
Dogs or cats, horse or emu, animals are people too.
Waterbeds were a big hit in the 70s, but lately they're a big hit with cows. Dairy farmer Kirk Christie says his cows give milk while resting on waterbeds and watching a flat-screen TV. He says the specially made cow waterbeds were a big hit with his cows from the beginning. They provide heat in the winter and cool them in the summer depending on the water he pipes in. Happy cows produce more milk, and since the waterbeds, milk production has jumped up 20%. Christie installed the TV because he said the cows were so used to just hearing his voice that when visitors came by, they'd get scared. Now they get a chance to meet new people on TV, and according to Christie, they like Oprah and Dr. Phil. He may be the only farmer offering his cows TV entertainment, but the waterbeds are here to stay. According to the manufacturer, there are over 150,000 cow waterbeds being used, and more orders are coming in every day, causing a lot of cows to ask, "Hey, Elsie, what's your sign?" I'm Britt Savage for Animal Radio.
Animals are people too. Animal Radio.
If you're a diabetic, we have great news. You can end the painful finger sticks with a new CGM. Plus, they may be covered by Medicare, Medicaid, or private insurance. If you use insulin or have had hypoglycemic events, you may qualify. Call US Med now to learn more.
800-434-5019. 800-434-5019. 800-434-5019. That's 800-434-5019.
Hi, this is Carrie Annie Naba from Dance with the Stars. Don't forget to spay and neuter your animals, and you're listening to Animal Radio.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Here's Hal and Judy.
And we're going to, I'm sorry, I guess I got to hit that button right there. And that would be Greg. Hey, Greg, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. How's your dog? What's going on?
Okay, so I actually got a rescue cyber husky, and he's probably approximately like 8 to 10 months. I took him into the vet, and he's actually a pretty good dog. The only thing is that just when he wants attention, he wants to, like, use his mouth to, like, squeeze your arm or hand to get your attention. And he's pretty, how would you say, he doesn't know his own strength.
Hey, Greg, how you doing, buddy? I'm glad you called. I really am. I love Siberian Huskies. They're awesome dogs. They have lots of energy. and they were bred to pull, and so they're always pulling at stuff, and they like to dig, and they'll try to escape if they don't get enough exercise and they're not stimulated. They need a lot of attention. They need you to play with them a lot, get their energy out a lot, because they have so much energy, and because they are sled dogs. And dogs use their mouths in all different kinds of ways, not just to attack, but to actually interact with the world around them. And so a dog will put his mouth on you occasionally to get your attention, or to get you to pay attention to him. And a lot of times dogs don't know their own strength, and that's why when a dog is a puppy, they kind of learn that from their moms and their litter mates. That's why it's so important not to take a dog away from its mother. Before people say 8 weeks, I like 12 weeks, because dogs learn so much from their moms. So humans can also teach their dogs something called bite inhibition, is what they call it, or what we call it. And it's a way to teach your dog to be gentle with his mouth. And the best way to do it, the way I like to do it, is, and I like to do this too, Greg, because it prevents, food aggression and a dog getting possessive over his food. I like to hand feed my dog a little bit each day, a little kibble each day. And I always say words don't mean much to dogs, but if you use a very selected few words or sounds when you're teaching your dog something, it makes a big impact. It's kind of like the guy who's always talking and, nobody pays attention to him. They tune him out. But the guy who doesn't say much very often, when he starts talking, everybody perks up. That's how it is with a dog. So if you were going to just kneel down with a piece of kibble, piece of dog food, and hold it in front of your dog, and when he goes to get it very fast, you just put your hand up and go, hey, hey, and retreat. Take the food back, and you do it over and over again with your hand very slowly to teach him to move slowly. And then when he tries to get the food, if he's going fast, you retreat. You take the food back. You hold your hand up. You go, hey, no. And you will very quickly teach him to gently take the food out of your hand. And that's what you want to do. And it takes time. I want you to think of yourself, Greg, as a teacher. You are your dog's teacher. And everybody who's listening to the radio that has a dog should always think of themselves as a teacher. Now, because each dog is different, you have to find ways to communicate what you want to your dog. And you're the only one who can do that. And you've got to do it without language, without words, because, they don't understand sentences. So you've got to learn to do it with movement, and you've got to learn to do it by paying attention to your dog, and you've got to satisfy your dog's needs by getting his energy out. So if you tire him out before you do this exercise, it's going to be very, very successful very quickly. So then when he puts his mouth on you, you do the same thing. You teach him not to put his mouth on you by holding your hand up and going, hey. And you're very quickly going to teach him that teeth are not appropriate on humans. It may take a little time, but he'll get it. Okay. Everybody in your house has to do it, though. Okay, buddy?
Right. I appreciate it.
Does that make sense to you?
Oh, yes, most definitely.
Okay. Good luck to you, pal. And if you have any other problems, we love hearing from you. Thanks for calling us.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Boy, that ended fast. Alan, you told me to start enjoying the show more and stop looking out the window. It actually went by very fast. I had a good time. However, it is time now to take the animals out to enjoy some of this beautiful weather. And I hope everybody across the country can do that. Before you go, write this down, animalradio.com. I suggest you download the Animal Radio app right now. It's free. If you haven't done it, why haven't you done it? Come on, man. It's a free app, and you can ask your questions of our dream team right from the app for iPhone and for Android. And, of course, there's a million other ways to listen. Over 107 AM and FM stations across the country air Animal Radio. We're also available online on iHeartRadio. 2 brand new channels, a highlight channel and a full show channel. Just go to Talk Radio and type in Animal Radio on iHeartRadio. Of course, we're on Stitcher, we're on TuneIn, we're on Live 365. I'm missing something else.
Yeah, I forget the other one. iTunes.
iTunes. So there's so many ways. You can head on over to the website at animalradio.com and learn a lot more about that. Now, we were talking about dog TV before. We've been doing a radio show for the dogs. Not a lot of you can hear it because it's actually beyond our hearing pitch level. It's
very high decibel.
I think the dogs can hear that. And it plays a lot of things like squeaky toys and stuff. So if you notice your dog's looking at the radio when you're listening to Animal Radio, that's because they're listening to that. Of course, we don't charge the $4.99 a month. It's free as radio should be. And
that's right.
Yep. You can continue to listen to the regular Animal Radio, and your dog can continue to listen to the high-pitched Animal Radio with all the noises and stuff simply by downloading the Animal Radio app. Be sure to check out Dr. Debbie's books, Yorkshire Terriers, Shih Tzus, Pugs, and Mini Schnauzers, How to Be Your Dog's Best Friend. Good reads. They're like owner's manuals for your animal. Have a great week. We'll see you next week right here on this fine station for more Animal Radio.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Always adopt, don't declaw.
This is Animal Radio Network.